morelikeradio.com. It's our duty to entertain you. I said duty.
Well, we got a really busy show today, and we do have to get right into things. So for those not tuned in live and you're listening to the podcast, shame on you because you're going to miss out on something really cool. We have today, right now, on the phone, from Ghost Hunters International, Dustin Pari. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, just chilling since we were already talking before we went live.
For like 10 minutes.
For, 10 minutes or so. I can
Don't pull the curtain back. People like this, the whole mystique of it all.
Not on this show.
Also, not on this network.
Yeah, not on this network, too.
we Kool-Aid man the hell out of that fourth wall.
Big time.
Oh, yeah.
And we're really not afraid of it either. We have absolutely no problem, just passing the cameras and the audio and going, all right, guys, come on into our lives. We don't care. We love it. So, Dustin, thanks for being on. It was awesome how you said yes to doing the interview. For what the listeners don't know, because I haven't told this story yet, Dustin made a tweet, I want to say earlier in the month, where he just said, do you know the Muffin Man? So the two of us started going back and forth with Shrek, which was great. I need to ask you this. Why did you do that?
Because my brain isn't right. I've got issues. I don't know what goes on in there, but there's a lot of what I like to call happy nonsense, and it's usually this weird little animated reality that I have in there, and things just pop up, and I just put it out there, and it seems to entertain people. So I don't want to be one of those, people that just put on Twitter constant posts for, come see me at this event, that event, which I know I do a good share of doing, but I like to be entertaining, and I'm a little bit crazy, and I like to find other people that are like me so I don't feel so alone.
Welcome to our world.
He might fit in if he wants to be like a guest host every now and then on this show.
Hey, more than welcome to. More than welcome to.
And, he can shamelessly plug whatever he wants because Punchy already does that.
Well,
I mean, Punchy's on 22 different shows, so he's shamelessly plugged. So
he's the
I'm sure
he's
Dustin,
the
we can allow him a
MLR
plug or
whore.
two here and there.
You think that's bad, Adam? Wait until I get a new car and I can finally start doing stand-up shows again.
Oh my God, it's gonna be ridiculous.
Half the Sully show will be plugs. Half of every show I do will just be plugs.
Phrasing.
Crazy.
So, Dustin, let's get into the nitty-gritty here, because I've been big on Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International. You've been on both. What got you into the paranormal? What's your backstory of how you got into it?
This for me all started when I was probably just around 9 years old, and I thought, but today we'd classify as a shadow figure. And this thing was just kind of standing at the doorway in between my bedroom and the hallway, and everything beyond that was all backlit. The hallway, the kitchen, all the lights were on, and this thing was just standing there. And I was a kid, so I just kind of tucked my head under the covers and prayed for this thing to go away. And I never saw it again. I lived there for another 9 or 10 years, but it always kind of just it made me wonder what this thing was, what else is out there, and I always loved Halloween, and I loved ghost stories and all that stuff. So once I was old enough, when my buddies got a license, we started doing investigations. And at that time, investigating was pretty much walking around in the woods, scaring the hell out of each other, but it was enjoyable. And it just started from there, man. I mean, I'm going on. This will be 22 years of doing this stuff, and it's just.
Wow.
I don't know how many more answers I have, but I've seen a lot of incredible things, and it makes you think about a lot of stuff differently. And I enjoy the hell out of it. It's just it's fantastic.
What was your first investigation like?
Well, I went to this place locally in that was known as the old witch's house. It's this 3-walled little stone house out in the woods just past the edge of North Smithfield, and we would just go there and just try to check the place out and stuff, and often get chased off by this local guy that lived down there and everything else. And I stopped going there because I decided to go there during the day once because paranormal activity doesn't always happen at night. So went down there this one day, and figured out the guy. I was trying to figure out how, because this place is out in the middle of nowhere, and yet this one guy would always show up. I was like, how is it he knows we go down here? Like, shut the lights off and everything, he'd still find us. And he used to have one of those, remember back in the day when we all had enough money and you could pay for full-serve gas?
Oh, I wish.
That little thing, and you would drive across it and go ding, ding. The guy would run out with a little smile on his face, and you'd get the fuel. Well, this guy had this damn thing across the road, so he would know when somebody went down there. And so I finally saw that. I said, all right, so if I park before that and walk, he's not going to know. And everything was going according to plan until apparently he decided to go out to go grocery shopping with the missus and saw cars parked down the road. So he turned around and went back there. And he gets out of his truck. If you guys remember the movie Porky's, that's pretty much what this guy looked like. Oh my God, this big hillbilly fella, big stomach, big suspender, overall things on, and gets out, gets his shotgun out, and I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well. And he made us stand there, sent his wife back with the truck to call the police on us, and then he stood there and basically just verbally berated us until the cops came. And then the cops told me, they said, what are you doing here? And I was like, oh, we're, looking for spirit activity. And the guy's like, what are you doing? I'm looking for ghosts. I'm looking for ghosts in this house.
Ghostbusters.
Like,
who are you gonna call?
He's like, we're gonna need to go back and search your vehicle. It's like, okay.
Well, all right, we've got cameras here. That's about it. Here you go.
So it's just one of those things. And this was, I was like 15, 16 at the time, so this is long before it was popular on TV or anything. So
wow,
no one knew what the hell was going on. But it turns out the guy that lived down there, he had a big. Well, at one time, and I don't know if it's still there, but it was the biggest environmental threat to the state of Rhode Island. It was this huge tire pile, and I think he was worried that people were going to go back there and do things high school kids do and set this thing on fire. And so that's why he didn't want people there. I don't think he cared about this house off on the corner of the property, but it's since been leveled. I tried to bring my wife and daughter there to show them where this all started for me just this last fall, and it's all a condominium complex now. So.
Wow.
Really disappointing. I drove up. I was all excited to return. And I'm like, oh, it's not here.
And you're like, oh, disappointment.
Do you think the ghosts have to pay condo fees now that they're there? Because they're kind of stuck in that location?
That was the stupidest question.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know if they have to pay any upkeep.
And that's
or
Adam.
And that's our Adam there, derailing us with a stupid question like that.
It's not a stupid question. It's a solid question.
All right, I'll give you that.
I mean, his story was very riveting. Like when he explained to me how he first got into it, because I kept getting flashbacks, because I also had a dark figure that used to look at me when I was a kid, but then it was my Uncle Bobby, and I realized he had to go off to jail, so I don't know if it's the same thing for you.
I don't think that works out very well in your favor, Adam.
Yeah. I mean, I could have been a ghost hunter, but Uncle Bobby ruined that for me.
Now, I know you've been doing a lot of tours and everything, and I know you're doing a lot of motivational speaking and stuff like that as well. First, how'd you get involved with T.A.P.S? Because I've been trying to look for that information, and I haven't been able to see it anywhere.
Yeah, I came home one night. I mean, I've always been an industrious little fella, and I was working 2 jobs, and I came home one night after work, and I just kind of sacking out, and I was clicking through the TV, and I see guys doing investigations in people's homes. I was like, this is great. Like, I'm always in abandoned buildings and stuff. Like, I never get to go in people's houses. So I was really intrigued. And it was like the tail end of an episode, and I made a point to catch it the next week. And then I saw when they started off that in the B-roll shots, there's a shot of the Warwick Water Tower, which isn't far from where I was in Rhode Island. I said, I had no idea these guys were around here. And so I sent emails and stuff to everybody on the show. It's like, listen, I've worked for CBS and Fox News for many years. I can handle all the equipment. I've been in the field for many years.
Right.
Would not trying to be on TV, but would just like to be a part of a team because I can never get into people's houses, And nobody wrote back to me. Nobody seemed to care. And so I tried again, and this time I targeted all the. You're going to play to your strengths, okay, kids? This is what you're going to learn here from this story. Adam, I don't know what you'll learn, but you'll come up with something. But I decided that I was going to send the same email to all the females of the group, including a charming photo of myself. At which point, I did get people to reply. The next thing I know, I'm meeting Jay and Grant in a Starbucks coffee house, which I don't support because I'm a Dunkin' Donuts man myself. But I went there and I met with those guys, and they said, yeah, you can be part of the team, can't be on the show. I was like, great. Then 3 weeks later, hey, you want to be on the show?
Sure, thank you.
So that's how that all started.
Wow. And you were under Steve, right? Steve and you were doing most of the tech, correct? And then
Yeah. But when I first got brought in there, Brian was still there, but then he had left, and then it was just Steve and I. And then we picked up Tango like a season later down in Jersey.
good old Tango. Everybody loves Tango for some reason.
There's nothing not to love. I think that's why. He's a wonderful guy. He's got a great heart. He's crazy. I mean, and it's great because he does everything with like this happy little like foolish grin, and a lot of times you wonder if it's truly innocence and he doesn't know what's going on, or if he's just like playing the world and he's actually more intelligent about the whole thing than everybody else. Like, is it for his amusement or for our amusement? It's great. He's a great comic, and he's a great guy.
Nice. Now, what was one of your when you were with just Ghost Hunters, before you were even with Ghost Hunters International, because I was following that when you switched over and everything. What was one of your first like really major activity areas that you experienced with Ghost Hunters?
To me, the first ones that always stands out was the St. Augustine Lighthouse. Was always one of the best. I mean, because we had shadow figure activity, we had a woman's voice. Actually, Brian and I at the time were able to see this woman, this apparition at the top of the lighthouse. It was just fantastic. Now, I mean, I've gone back there at least another 6 or 7 times doing event investigations, and I've never seen the woman there again, but we've seen dark shadow figures on the bottom floor. We've also got a lot of EVPs and very heavy Spanish dialect, which is kind of cool because it ties into the original settlement down there was all Spanish settlement. So it was a really cool place.
Yeah, I remember that episode. That was one of the first episodes that I caught where you guys caught the heat signature of the footsteps going up the stairs. Now, I know the show is edited for content and everything else, but how long was that actually going on for when you guys saw that?
I really don't know, to be honest. And you know what? Here's the awesome thing about having me on your show. I'm not under a contract, so I can say whatever I want, which is awesome. I don't believe in thermal cameras. I think they're BS.
Right.
I don't buy it. I did volunteer firefighting for a time. I worked in the field for CBS and Fox as a cameraman for many years. I look at it this way. Thermal picks up heat signatures, and they picks up, as far as you scan a room, you need to have something solid that's there, or this heat signature that was just left there. And I've yet to see a solid apparition, and I've yet to see anything that, if you put a thermal camera on it, is going to show itself as 98 degrees like somebody else that's walking around there.
Right.
I'm not referring to any boy bands because I know Adam's a big fan. We talked about Bieber prior to the show. But
I like him.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. There's still some stuff like I can't figure out. Like when we did GHI and we were in Ireland and they had like this, the footsteps going through the field thing, and it looked like something was like, I think it was Steve, myself, and excuse me, it wasn't Steve, he wasn't there, but it was myself, Tango, and Brian were walking through this field, and it looked like something was like coming after like where our feet were, and right away people jumped to little people and all this stuff. I was thinking, it's kind of long grass. It was kind of like it was what's the damn word I'm looking for? Think about it, Parry. Humidity. It was a humid day. It was very humid. So I think that it might have just been residual of like the heat from our boots and stuff walking through, the grass and then dissipating after us. Like, I don't know. People can believe or not believe whatever they want in this field. That's kind of the beauty of it, but it's also kind of the curse of it because there's so much BS out there.
Right.
And when I see like young groups and teams trying to put money into equipment and they buy thermal cameras because they saw them on TV, I'm like, oh, don't do that. That's a bad idea.
You were looking at me like you had a question, Adam.
I was just wondering, so you don't believe in the heat signatures, so you're saying like the Predator wouldn't be a good person to have on the team? He would bring nothing to the table, really?
Really?
No, I really don't think he could. But you know what? That's how I often describe it to people, because that's what I grew up thinking thermal was. Man, Predator was awesome. But it's kind of cool too, because you know how when he kind of like cloaks and uncloaks, and you get that kind of like shimmery visual effect.
Yeah.
I know Uncle Bobby didn't have that weird figure, but when they have the shadowy figures coming in and out, that's often what they look like.
Now, what about the full spectrum camera? I know you guys brought that in. I want to say season 3, I think, of GHI, and I know.
Yeah, I think it might have been the tail end of season 2 or top of season 3. I love it. I think that's where the field should be going. To me, that makes sense. we're looking into further ends of the light and the visual spectrum that we normally cannot see into, and that's where we're starting to see some activity. But like, you really get to play with your lighting and everything, I think, to get the most desired results. I often tell people, reduce the amount of IR. People are lighting things up like the 4th of July with IR. And from what I did a lot of research with Barry and a couple of the books we put together, and a lot of the things that we noticed is that these figures, when they come forward, usually stay away from the IR source completely.
Right.
And a lot of times we get figures that will kind of duck their heads in, see where the IR light was kind of beaming at them, and get right away. But when we start taping off a lot of the IR and just reducing it so you just have enough to make, a visual field, and then we introduce low orange and red lights to help our eyes see, we're starting to get a lot more apparitions and things coming closer, coming forward toward the camera more than they ever did before. So that's why I always tell everybody, like, taper down the IR. We don't need car batteries hooked up to the huge IR panels. Like, it's just ridiculous. I like to just splash one on the back wall of a place and then put some little low red-orange lights down on the floor, and it's going to get a much better image, and you're going to get a lot more activity that way. Full spectrum is definitely the way to go.
Nice. Dark Fox, he's our host of Mark Out Radio, and he wants to know what you thought of ghost boxes or the FM receivers that can scan.
For the longest time, I was like, this is just another hunk of junk. I just thought it was all crap. And I started working with John Zaffis. He's a really good friend of mine. He did the Haunted Collector show. He's so much more than they could ever portray on TV. He's a fantastic guy out of Connecticut. I've learned a lot from him. And we would do these college lectures and stuff together, and he'd break out this little box. I was like, oh, I hate this thing. But he gets the damn thing to say things that, like, were just, not normal radio chatter. And I started to see he was using it differently than a lot of people that were like, oh, how many of you are here? Like, you just keep saying things that you're going to, these leading questions where, especially in the fall when you're doing these lectures a lot for the colleges and such,
right,
there's always, baseball players for our World Series and all this stuff. So you're going to get, random last names from players or score updates or jersey numbers or something being announced. So what John had taught me to do is to do it in such a way that you're asking for something specific. If somebody's here, I want you to say this and nothing else. Just give them something specific. And when it comes through, it sounds different than normal radio chatter. And usually, you can really pick up on it. And I have one box that I've used now for the last 3 or 4 years. And when I first started using it, I didn't have any luck with it. And it seems just like with a lot of other things in the field, the more you work with a piece of equipment, the more there seems to be a connection. And I have great luck with it. And but like I said, it's one of those things when I first started, I see a lot of people misusing it or using it to mislead other people, because you can go either way with most of this stuff, But if you're actually using it correctly and you're being specific and you spend time with it, you can get some interesting things.
Right. Dee, did you have a question? Because you looked like you had a question off in the background here.
I did have a question, and then I forgot what it was. It'll come back.
Solid co-hosting.
Fail.
Solid
I
co-hosting.
think she just had to poop.
Hi, Greg.
Oh, he's here.
Greg's here. Greg is Danielle's significant other, by the way, Dustin.
Oh, fantastic. Welcome aboard.
Yeah, we've been having fun the last 20 minutes or so.
Don't worry, he's been aboard that.
Yeah.
So, Dustin, have you ever been, like, truly scared? Because I know, ghost hunting and stuff,
happens
you're not,
all the time. Like, I often tell people I need to distract myself a lot of times. I hate walking down long corridors with a lot of open doors, like in the prisons and a lot of the old, the asylums and stuff they send us to. Because I don't like pop-out scary moments. Like horror movies rely on that little, like, you turn the camera where you just can't see it and something jumps in front of it. I hate that stuff. I'm not one that can go in haunted houses or any of that, because my first reaction is to hit things. You can't hit people. That's not right. And so it's just,
The person whom you're trying to reach is currently unavailable.
What the
Please
hell?
leave a message after the beep.
Who are we leaving a message for?
I think that was
Who is that English girl?
I think
wanna know.
that was Punchy.
Did we get haunted by a British chick?
No, that was Punchy Skype.
Whatever.
What the hell was that?
Why is a British maid leaving him voicemails? What's going on?
It's
She's
Skype.
after our tea and crumpets. God.
Wow, Skype sucked. we use Skype. I had, you got to see my setup. It's messed up. I've got 3 computers usually running at a time. One of them's kind of down at the moment because it's not getting Wi-Fi. But You'd like it for an at-home in-camera studio. The basics for cheap. That's how I went with it, you know. But
yeah, that's fine.
I have a video switcher and everything, so I have Punchy on one computer, and he's gone.
He just punched out.
Yeah, pretty
Done.
much.
So,
pretty much. That derailed me. I had a good question too.
well, it wasn't going to be Punchy, so here you go. I mean,
Yeah, it's
You guys are making fun of Danielle for forgetting her question. That's not
we always do that. I mean, that's kind of a staple in the show.
Yeah,
so
we-
just kinda
They
do that.
always make fun of me for everything.
Well, I will say, Danielle, today you definitely have like what I like to call the fetish attire because you kind of with the pigtails
I
and
knew
like
that
the
was
low
coming.
cut. So
You
like
realize I'm home, you jackass.
I know, and that's why I'm saying.
Why
it
am I
right
not
here.
on the video portion of this? I would like to see these things.
So I gave you
That's
the
fair about
option.
you, Adam.
What's that?
I did
Things
give
have
you.
just been deflated.
You did.
Hey,
that's,
listen,
that's
stop talking
correct.
about my blow up dog girlfriend, okay? I'm still taking care of
Oh, jeez, here we go.
it.
All right. You know what? I had one, and I don't know if I know you said you're not under contract, so you can pretty much talk about whatever.
Yeah, sure.
What happened with Chris in one of the last couple episodes of GHI? Like, I know they were doing some type of ritual or something like that.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't watch hardly any of the shows, and not just like because I laugh. Like I
That's
don't
awesome.
enjoy watching a lot of the shows. But I do know because Chris and I speak quite regularly that she was just very uncomfortable with the fact that I forget what country they were in, but they were doing some ritual where you would like I don't know, kind of party a hand or something. It's some blood thing, and she just thought that it was very inappropriate, regardless of socially what is acceptable in the country that they were at.
Right.
There's a lot of viewers, and there's a responsibility to those viewers to put things out there that are safe, especially since a lot of the people that watch the show are young kids and such that we don't want anybody out there doing things, based on, I saw this on GHI and cut your hand and
Right.
anything with blood and blades is not really what we're trying to promote,
Right.
So,
Especially
so she was very
because
upset by that, which I think, is rightfully so.
yeah, I've been trying to get her on the show for quite some time. I helped her set up her damn Ustream channel, for crying out loud. But
Yeah, she owes you something.
I
Absolutely.
know, that's what I've been saying, But yeah, I know she's busy. I also know she's not really in the States that much anymore because she's in Australia and doing all that stuff. But I know that
That's
the
right.
the paranormal community it's a very tight knit community, and T.A.P.S alone is huge to begin with. Do you still do you still do stuff with Jay Grant and all of them?
I do the events and stuff. I do the event circuit, so we can always run into each other here and there. But I left the T.A.P.S group before I went even to do GHI. I just kind of like doing things on my own, and I like to be able to kind of not be tied down to one group. And you get known for one group and one method. And
Right.
if somebody did something that I didn't approve of or something that I didn't believe in, I didn't want to have to be associated with it. I do a lot of ministry work. I do a lot of motivation work, and at the end of the day, I want to be responsible for my own name and my own actions, and I don't want to be tied in with a bunch of other people. But I still work with all the guys. We see each other at events and everything, and everything's cool. It's just no.
It's like
I'm a loner, Dottie, a rebel.
You got commitment issues. I can understand that. I can understand that.
commitment issues.
Can't commit to a group. I understand that.
Now, what would you suggest for someone that thinks they may have something going on in their house today? I mean, because everybody's
Get the
got
hell
camera.
out.
Get the hell out. Get out. Leave. The only reason why I ask is, and I've been in my little apartment for, I want to say 7 years now. When we first moved in, I was working on third shift, but my fiance would always have these weird things going on when I wasn't home. And I always said to her, you're imagining these things. Nothing's happening. Well, there was a night where we were both sitting on the couch, and as a matter of fact, we were watching Ghost Hunters, and the top of my garbage can, it's one of those ones that can do like a 360 rotation for the cover. It just started just started spinning on its own. And I saw it. And I went, that's new. And I know, I can't say if the place is haunted because it's really the only thing that like major that has ever happened,
Right.
But what would you suggest to somebody that wants to at least try and find out if their place has not really haunted, but has some type of activity?
I mean, if you're living there and you witness things happening, then, you don't really need to prove to anybody else if something's going on in your house or not. I always recommend, unless it's something that is truly troubling or is becoming, harmful or disruptful in a regular pattern, just try to ignore it. Don't give a lot of attention to it. It seems that a lot of times the spirit world, the prankster ones that come across will almost be like children. And the more you feed into their activity, the more stuff starts to happen.
Right.
Whereas if it's not really bothersome, you just kind of ignore it, just kind of leave it alone,
Okay. That makes sense, I guess. I've always been into this, whether it's through the scientific aspect of it or just because I think it's cool that some of these things can happen, and I've always wanted to go on some type of an investigation. I just never had.
We live in New England. There's like
I know
it's like the center. It's like Ghostbusterville for us. I mean.
Ghostbusterville?
Yeah, it's like the whole New England area is all like riddled with ghosts all over the place. I mean, just pick a random place. Like, I mean, my grandmother's house was severely haunted, and she didn't tell me till like a year in. She's like, oh, by the way, yeah, this place is really haunted. Just giving you a heads up. I'm like, yeah, I hear small kids running up and down the stairs. She's like, oh, yeah, that's,
That's Emily.
Like those were your kids, you idiot.
What's that?
I said those were your kids.
I don't have kids, okay, Greg? I'll have you know, I have no DNA test that proved that I am the biological father of any children in this country or any other.
Because no one wants to admit that you're the father.
If I end up on Maury, so help me God, you're coming with me for moral support.
There we go. By the way, Dustin, thank you for feeding into their Twitter addiction on me. I appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
He's going to have a new hobby now.
You know what? I'm all for it. I do love it because, as I like to say, we all usually take one for the team. When Twitter's going off during the show, that's me taking one for the team. So
there you go.
I welcome it with open arms.
That is actually just Sully trying to get us to stop doing it. Right
It'll never
Reverse
happen.
psychology will not work on this group.
Yeah.
I mean, one of us maybe, but not all of us.
It'll never happen. You guys are like me. We beat shit into the ground.
Phrasing.
Until it's
Phrasing.
dead.
Phrasing.
Yeah. Hashtag
Adam
phrasing.
He takes one for the team. Even if he's the only person on that team, he'll still take one for the team.
Hey, listen. Wait, Punchy or me?
Both of you.
I will not take grenades. First of all, I already got my grenadier badge years ago, okay? I don't need to take that. I got my certificate for
He now teaches courses at the Y.
What's that?
How to jump on a grenade by Adam Wood.
Wow.
And I'm done.
Oh, man. Come on into the chat room. Go to morelikeradio.com/live. We got Dustin Pari on the phone with us today. I'm actually not going to lie. I'm surprised you lasted a half hour, dude.
I'm surprised Dustin's lasted a half hour with us.
Technically 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's funny. I've never had a problem going more than a half hour.
Excellent.
Good for you.
Phrasing.
The ladies must love you then.
Phrasing.
D got that phrasing from D got a little giggly.
Here we
Well,
go.
at least she didn't get snortily. There it
I
is.
like
There
the
you
way
go.
you guys work. This is fun.
Oh, we have a ball. And
Phrasing.
Yeah, phrasing. Dustin, you're more than welcome to call in anytime you want, whether it's on Skype, you want to be a part of the show for the whole 2 hours. You are more than welcome, by all means.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We have we are.
Get it out.
Here we go. Here's your phrasing. We are the easiest show to get along with.
I'm not even going to go with that one. That was just too easy.
That's why I said it.
Phrasing.
We really are. What did Punchy say the show was? The Dudley Do-Right of More Like Radio, right?
Yeah. We're like the let's see, the Donnie and Marie.
No, don't
No,
even no.
the Donnie and Marie of like the Manson family. All right, that's what we are. Like we're like that illegitimate like second cousin that's like really nice, and everyone else is like fucked up in the head like on the rest of the shows.
All right, I'll give you that one.
I've got one for you. I've got a decent comparison.
Okay.
The Sully Show is to the rest of MLR as How I Met Your Mother is to legit.
What?
The show, the Jim Jeffries show, legit.
Yeah, I know. I
Legit.
understand. I'm just trying to get the
Adam's brain
comparison.
just exploded.
Don't.
One's
what?
a cleaner TV sitcom. The other one is a sitcom centered around just a shitbag who's funny.
Yeah. Pretty much. Was that yours or mine?
It's going off on mine too.
It was mine.
Oh, that's me.
Thanks, D.
So Dustin, what's the scariest movie like that you've seen that you legit can't watch because it like freaks you out that bad?
You know what's really sad? It's not even a movie. It's a video game. Silent Hill. I can't play Silent Hill with the lights on in the middle of the day.
I love that game. Silent Hill and Resident Evil.
Weird.
Really?
Yeah, like all the little slow-moving kids and stuff. I don't know, man. I never liked the whole idea of spirit kids, especially when they're walking around with knives. That's not good. Yeah, that game scared the hell out of me, man.
I loved those games, and it was especially like when Resident Evil first came out, and you had to play it in the dark to get the full effect. Mainly because if you played it,
those long, really long loading screens of just going up steps. Yep. Waiting for the next thing to load, yeah.
And you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? And then all of a sudden, bam, you're dead.
Always making the wrong decisions.
Yeah, but you know what? I honestly think those video games kind of helped change the way video games are done now. You know, it used to be your side scrollers.
Oh,
yeah. And now they're so full of story and content that some, not all, are actually really good, and you find you're playing it for hours at a time, and then all of a sudden you're like, shit, I was supposed to eat dinner an hour ago.
It supports the Mountain Dew industry as well. Let's not forget that.
That is true. Video games do support Mountain Dew industry.
They do.
And Red Bull.
So, follow up on the horror movie question, though. What are some of your favorites?
I know I don't watch a lot of horror movies. I'm a big fan of like animation and comedies, but when I do watch horror stuff, it's usually like, something from the paranormal end of things. None of the Paranormal Activity movies do it for me. I thought those were all kind of like crap. I just couldn't get into any of them. I liked, I kind of like anything with like exorcism kind of movies. I thought were pretty good. What was the one with Anthony Hopkins? The Right. The Right was probably one of my favorites.
That one was a good one.
Yeah, I like those kind of things.
I kind of do feel like the people in the paranormal investigations would watch Paranormal Activities and go, this is shit, kind of like how a lot of like people in the military will watch a lot of Army movies and say the same thing. Like, this isn't accurate at all.
No, absolutely. Because when you know the reality of it and you're sitting there watching just other like schlock, I'm like, oh, I'm not. Somebody pass me more snow caps. I'm bored.
Speaking of the reality of it,
I thought we were going to say, Pete, speaking of snow caps, I was very excited where that might have went.
And let's go.
Is snow caps code for something else?
Twisted around and just turned it instantly.
Bro, listen, I got mad snow caps. I got a guy.
See, he's going to be tuning in every week now. This is going to be great.
Snow caps.
No pressure, Sully. No pressure.
No pressure at all. Thanks, guys.
Right.
I appreciate
you're more of a
it.
Mounds kind of girl, right? Candy-wise?
Oof.
What's that?
I think she's more of a Mounds kind of girl.
Who?
You.
Oh, me?
Or do you like Almond Joys because they have the nut?
No, Milky Way.
Oh.
Just let it marinate.
How did we get into chocolate?
Well, snow caps. And that
Yeah, no, it all works.
It all works.
Oh, the candy snow caps.
That's why he's like, I got a guy.
He's like, I got a guy, yeah.
Whoops.
I'm going to slap the stupid out of you, boy.
Oh, monster.
My God. Punchy, really? And there goes D.
I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was well played.
Absolutely.
I'm glad someone appreciates it. Thank you.
I laughed. Wow. Talk about derailment. Whoa.
Squirrel.
Oh, so anyway.
Pretty much this is how it is in my head, like all the time. So I feel completely at home here.
Believe me, like I said, you're more than welcome anytime. just send me a tweet. Because everybody else is.
Yep.
Oh, we are and will.
Yeah, I know you guys will. So anyway, I did want to get into a little bit of the reality of what it took to make an episode. A lot of people think it's a one-day thing, but most of the time you guys are there like 2 or 3 days, aren't you?
Yeah, each episode people see takes 2 weeks to put together, and usually that consists of 2 locations, and it would take 2 weeks. We would film the investigation, at least for GHI, we'd always film at least 2 days, sometimes 3 days, and we would be out there, it was kind of crazy because we were in a different country like every 2 weeks and just constant hustle. It was kind of nice because it was a great opportunity to kind of travel and see the world, but you only had about 1 day off a week, and by the time you get to that one day, you were just so tired and you're used to being up all night, and so during the day, you really didn't want to do much, but I tried to make an effort to go out and see some things in each country and do a little bit of something there. But yeah, it's each episode. It's so funny because sometimes people are like, "Oh, you were only there 15 minutes." I'm like, "No, it's just there was nothing there, so they cut the episode really short." But like, yeah, we were always there a long time. It's just
Right.
Usually have 6 cast members, 12 crew members, and just traveling all over the place trying to get things together. It was pretty crazy.
Wow. Now,
You got to bribe a lot of people in these foreign countries, like to get the equipment in and to shoot. There's a lot of like, here's a little something for you, here's a little something for the boss. It is crazy.
Here's a couple hundred. Here you go. Have fun. Just make sure you're helping us out.
In Brazil, we had to pay for a bodyguard for protection. It looked like a 13-year-old kid that didn't weigh 100 pounds, but he had this huge semi-automatic weapon because he was one of their guys. So we're basically paying them
right
in the favelas to let us into film, and they're like, okay, we'll throw out this this token rookie kid to hang out with you guys all night, but basically he's protecting you from us, so it's all okay.
And you've got to carry a package back home with you that it's unmarked and everything.
Is it a little white thing?
We made Joe Chin do that.
Little
Joe Chin was more than happy to
little snow caps maybe coming out of there. Huh?
That's right.
A little bit. Yeah, maybe.
Hey, listen, in a situation like that, it's way too scary out there to try to score snow caps. You never know.
New hashtag snowcaps.
Yeah,
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I figured you would. Wow, this interview is going to be really long for YouTube.
Like a 9-part miniseries at this point.
Yeah, right. Hey, I don't mind. I like it.
It's going to turn into Roots. Seriously.
Roots.
I was about to say there's going to be like Roots with less racism and whippings.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
So nothing like Roots.
Pretty much.
And this is what we do. Oh, D,
Oh.
your Skype crashed again.
Give it a few more
Gosh
minutes
darn
and this will
it.
be like
Call me back.
Give it a few more minutes, it'll be like Stephen King's The Stand.
seriously. Oh, 2 hours. Up. Now it's show the title. There you go.
And lens flare, just for the J.J. Abrams look.
And lens flare and no acknowledging the expanded universe. Boom.
Boom. Well, technically, they're not allowed.
I know.
Star Wars,
But-
they're not allowed.
What other areas have been just sketchy to be in while doing your investigating in places?
Besides Jersey.
Well, I mean, come on, it's Jersey.
Oh, it'd be nice to Portland Garden State. There's a lot of crazy stuff, man. There's, some of the places that even just put us up are kind of strange, and we just anytime we're over in Eastern Europe, Romania was like. I was in one place, this not my hotel room. I go in, you're like, all right, I need to take a shower, and I'm like, where the hell's the shower? I'm like in this tiled room, I can't find it, and there's just a one little spigot that's right up in the center of the ceiling, next to an open light bulb with some wiring hanging there, and there's a drain in the floor. So you walk in just one vacant room by yourself, and then like you go to, it was horrible. And then like you want like, oh, let me just take a quick hot shower, dry off, and get out of here. And of course, there's no hot water. Their towels. The towels were akin to like the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry wafer cookies you get.
Yeah.
Pretty much like they were, and you kind of peel the sides off. It was like that rough, scratchy kind of wafery material. I'm like, this is just moving water. It's not absorbing anything. And it is a horrible, hellish time in Romania. But we got through it. We got to Dracula's castle. It was about the size of my living room. It had 3 walls. Everyone said we were too afraid to go in, but that's all there was. We were actually in there. And was it all worth it? Probably not, but it was fun.
Well, and that's the thing, too. Eastern Europe, I'm just wary of anywhere there because it's kind of like a drunk Jersey Shore bar girl. Like 1 second she's friendly, but it takes one little thing, and all of a sudden it's fight time.
Sad part is it's all true.
I can't do like Eastern Europe after seeing the what's the movie with the where they kill the people and everything. They torture.
Hostel.
After seeing Hostel, I'm
Well,
like,
they
no,
kill the
fuck
people,
no.
then
I am
you're
not
like,
going to Eastern Europe. All there is like, I don't need some girl luring me from a bar with some like roofie colada. Next thing you know, I'm getting tortured. Screw that shit. I'm done. I'm done. No.
You're a man of principle, if nothing
I'm a man
else.
of principle. I will do many things in this country, but not in Eastern Europe.
But not in Eastern Europe.
Yeah,
But
Eastern
when you
Europe.
describe it sounds like Sochi. The whole time I'm like, are you sure you weren't in Sochi for the Olympic Games the way you're describing it? I'm like,
Can I just
gonna
point
be mad
out
about that one?
Can I just point out that Ukraine and Russia, they're basically doing the country equivalent of they both wore the same dress at the same party.
Yeah.
It's pretty much what they're doing. They're fighting over Crimea.
Listen, let them fight over Eastern Europe. I don't care. No one cares about Eastern Europe. One, they don't have oil. Two, their chief export is mail order brides. So who really cares?
Hey, listen, that is a
There's
viable
there's
enterprise.
There's a lot of lonely guys that are probably very interested in that one export.
Yeah, Adam.
Punch. Oh, yeah. Shots fired from Punchy?
Oh.
You know what they don't have there? They don't have peanut butter. I had peanut butter that I took with me from Italy, and we went from Italy into Romania. And the guy saw me sitting there in the back of the truck eating. He's like, "What's that?" And it's like, "It's peanut butter." He had no idea what the hell it was. And I ended up trading him jars of peanut butter for homemade moonshine, which I think I lost out in the bargain. I ended up giving the moonshine away because I didn't want to lose my sight. So I ended up with no peanut butter and no alcohol.
You really brought peanut butter to another country?
Yeah, I used to sneak my share of peanut butter around the country because you couldn't always rely on what they had, and I like to snack.
That was probably the most disturbing comment I've ever heard from you.
But it's.
But hey,
Are we still talking about peanut butter?
Wait a minute, Greg. I gotta go with Dustin on this one. Peanut butter is freaking awesome.
You can
And
put
not
on
only-
anything.
Peanut butter and Pop-Tarts.
And
I
your
used to
dog,
take peanut
right,
butter and
exactly.
Pop-Tarts with me to every country, and then I would also take a tube of cookie dough for the flight over to Europe.
That sounds like Punchy's morning breakfast.
You got me with the Pop-Tarts now. Now I'm curious.
Peanut butter and Pop-Tarts.
Not an Adam kind of curious,
Yeah.
but curious about peanut butter and Pop-Tarts.
All right, Greg. I want video of when you try it. All right.
Okay.
And
Will do.
And we'll show it on
I
the
have
show.
to wear pants.
No, not
No.
down in the pants. No. We don't want no Godzilla today.
What?
In the butt. Now, we are so screwed. We're going to hell. I love it.
Might as well have
Hold
courtside
on,
seats,
sorry.
right?
This is what's settling that?
No. I think JT's racist episode was, yeah. I think that's what
That
marked
might have
us
did
for
it.
going to hell. Hey, Dustin, you never know. You might investigate us one day.
We're like,
I know these guys.
I know these
is he like,
antics.
wait.
I know. They're
Listen.
talking about snow caps and peanut butter.
And Pop-Tarts.
That's right.
Pop Tarts.
It's all about the certain trigger words. If you can say snow caps, you'll get a reaction.
There you go.
You can say illegitimate kids, you know it's Adam.
What's that?
Oh!
What's that?
If the ghost is talking about illegitimate kids, you know it's Adam.
And I'd be like, I'm not the father.
It wasn't me.
The lie detector says that was a lie.
When you said use protection, that was a lie. Yes.
Now, Dustin,
Oh, crap.
are there any other technologies that you guys at least you do you agree with or you don't agree with of using? Because you already mentioned the thermal camera. Is there anything else?
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of the whole flashlight thing. I always feel really bad because I go do events and I really want to make, when people come, I'm like, listen, it's tough enough to get by in the world. And you're going to come walk around in the dark with me and pay a nominal fee to do so, which I'm not in control of any of that. But at the same time, it's a business, so I understand, these places have to rent things out and get insurances and all that stuff. So
Right.
cool. But I'm going to make sure that people get, their money's worth. So I'd like to hang out, tell stories, and have a really good time and do these events to the best of my ability and do the investigations as honestly as I think they should be done. But then I see people like break out their flashlights and like loosening the little thing so they can sit there and talk to the spirits. And I'm like, oh, please put that away. It's just so frustrating. Like, no, but I saw this on TV. I'm like, it's just, you're just loosening the connection. And then as it cools and as it changes, like it's going to connect randomly. Like just stop that stuff. And it's, I mean, I've seen people do it like 2 different flashlights and then try to say, okay, do this one, do that one. But if you're going to do a lot of stuff and you're going to start leading people to believe one thing or another, I don't know, man. It's just not for me. Maybe it works for some people, but to me, it's just, especially when you see it on TV, it's like, okay, they can edit this however they want. Here's a tight shot of a flashlight going off or not going off. Like, come on, spin again, kids.
Hey, you know what, though? Even worse than the flashlight thing, though, is if you watch that Finding Bigfoot show, and they're like, all right, we've got these night vision cameras. So instead of having it go forward where we can possibly see the Sasquatch, we're going to put it on our faces.
Absolutely. It's all about reaction camera. Nobody wants to see Bigfoot. Let's see us looking for Bigfoot. And it's all crazy, man. I don't buy it.
It's like watching somebody watching grass grow.
Hey,
Okay,
that
now
could
let's
be
talk
fun.
about this. What is going on in all these damn YouTube videos about kids react to this and some guy react? I've seen videos of gentlemen, and I use that term very loosely, reacting to watching TV. I'm like, why would you film yourself watching TV, and then why are other people watching it? And why the hell am I watching it? I won't stay on there long.
You got to question your life choices.
There seems to be a lot of it.
And half of them sound like sports radio callers when they're commenting on it.
And really like poor, like just up and coming AM radio callers. It's just god awful. I just don't understand it.
The sad part is they get millions of views. That's the sad part. They get millions of views on these videos. Meanwhile, I can't get
because
shit.
it's just people sitting on their couch just eating cheese puffs and clicking through YouTube. I think the whole world's going to shit. I'm just trying to save it.
Well, Sully, have the camera on D while you're doing the talking, and then it'll get clicks.
There you go.
Zoom right into the lower third of that, and you're good to go.
I like how she's just waving. Thanks, dude.
Hi.
Like, look at me. I'm pretty.
Hi.
And then you have her like lip sync.
No, don't start. Jesus.
Uh-oh.
There we go.
And the rape monologue.
And
Oh, man.
messing the hair up. And
I'm better.
are you sure about that?
Godzilla just tried to storm Tokyo.
There was one other question about the technology. As a matter of fact, because you mentioned people reacting with new videos, there was a video that Amy Bruni actually posted not too long ago. Somebody took the Xbox Kinect I guess made a program for it to work to see if they
they modded it. They modded it so that it's supposedly able to, because the Xbox Kinect camera is supposed to be able to recognize, human bodies, faces, arms, all that stuff. So, if you put it on an object, it's not supposed to pick it up. But, they're working with one that they modded to pick up what we are unable to see. But it's supposedly able to tie in and to locate spirits.
Right. Now,
I've yet to use it. It sounds interesting. I've yet to use it myself, so I can't really say what I think of it. But, the concept of it's pretty cool. It's a hell of a lot better than thermal.
I'd have to agree. I mean, because watching the video, it looked like they had a thermal camera at the same time, like in a smaller window. And just the way they were reacting, and you could see people walking, on screen, and it was kind of throwing the Kinect off, which I thought was pretty cool. But at the same time, I'm saying to myself, like, how the hell did they mod this to work the way it needs to work? Because normally with the Xbox Kinect, if it's not programmed a specific way, it kind of just everything gets thrown off. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not an Xbox person. But
I don't know myself, man. But the idea of it, I mean, the fact that people even come up with the ideas to do half this stuff is amazing. And the fact that some people actually know how to do it just blows my mind. I put batteries in things sometimes backwards, and then it doesn't work, and I just hit it against the wall like a freaking caveman. But
work!
Some of this is pretty cool. That's right. Why won't this magic work?
So now, do you plan on using some type of technology like like that?
Yeah,
using...
I'd like to check it out, man. I'd like to try it and check it out. I mean, for me, when I do investigations, a lot of it's just really spiritual for me. I mess around sometimes with the little hack box thing, and but other than that, I kind of enjoy being alive in the moment. I feel a lot of times, not even just for paranormal investigations, taking the motivation side of T.A.P.S, I get very upset that we're so busy trying to document things. Like, I mean, look, right before I talked to you guys, I took a picture of my waffles I made for breakfast today, which were absolutely delicious. Chocolate chip waffles.
Ooh.
You heat up some Hershey chocolate syrup in the microwave, cover it, and then you put chocolate chips on that. Like, you don't want to put maple syrup on chocolate. You're screwing yourself on the chocolate experience. You want to enhance it. So you add extra chocolate. But then before I can enjoy it, I have to take a picture and put it on Instagram. So I'm losing out in the first moment of destroying the virginity of this waffle because I got to take a picture of it. Like, that's insane.
I want to see that picture. Somebody retweet that picture.
It's like a Food Network is starting to go. Everyone goes heading to Food Network.
Yeah, well, we did talk about snow caps.
Maybe he, you know what?
Right.
There's a lot of things I feel that Dustin could really do. Maybe he could
Squirrel.
do some kind of like show on the Food Network and everything and showcase his skills, and maybe he could do like Ghost Hunter Realty, like where like he kind of like sells homes with ghosts to people, or reverse. Sell homes to ghosts that they want to haunt. Maybe a 2-bedroom in Orange County. You never know.
I don't think that's possible.
Listen,
2-bedroom.
Oh, that'd be great. You'd be able to check out this house. It's got a great view of the city, and it also has a husband and wife and a very skittish child. Like, that would be a great perk for a ghost.
Beetlejuice once lived here.
Exactly. Seriously. It's like you could do tours of everything for, like, you know, famous ghosts and stuff.
Just don't say his name 3 times.
Wow.
I just want to know, proton packs. How far away legit are we from proton packs?
Dude, come to any convention. There's always somebody that made their own walking around with it. It's a little bit crazy.
And it powers up.
Well, Adam, we were getting close, but then we lost Egon.
Yeah, we did lose Egon.
I'm like, don't cross the streams. Don't cross the streams.
That's what she said.
Life lessons Ghostbusters taught us: don't cross the streams.
Right. And also, if someone asks you if you're a god, say yes.
Say yes.
Always say yes. Fantastic.
See?
I used to love their cereal. Do you remember Ghostbusters cereal?
Oh,
yeah,
with
the bomb.
With the Slimer and Stay Puft Marshmallow Man marshmallows.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, they look nothing like them, but they were marshmallowy, tasty, and delicious.
Slimer's the name of my bong.
And
what?
No.
Random confession.
I mean, my bowl, yeah.
Do you remember Ecto Cooler?
Ecto Cooler.
Went
Oh my
on years
God.
after the movie was famous, and kids were drinking this stuff like, who the hell is this green thing on the box?
Who's Slimer? What's that? I love that Ecto Cooler.
I thought that was a sexual position for the longest time, the Slimer.
well,
you
it
think
probably
everything's
is.
a sexual position.
Well, everything could be a sexual position, D, okay? You just gotta have imagination, all right?
Okay, Adam.
You've been told.
And go on
What's
to
the skunk?
sexualpositions.org. It's a free.
Don't mock Adam's artistic creativity.
Right.
Yeah.
Adam, what would you call the skunk?
The skunk?
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely, the skunk would be something like you're having sex and all of a sudden you just grab her face and just fart in her face. That would be the skunk.
Adam's waiting to break out his position called the Walls of Jericho.
I call it the struggle hug.
man.
Whatever, you know.
The struggle hug.
All right. Well, Dustin, do you have any tour dates coming up right now?
Yeah, man, we got a ton of stuff going on. I got a bunch of events coming up. Let's see, the next one is going to be, where am I next? Man, it's so tough to keep track. Oh, and I'm going to be over in New Hampshire. I'm actually doing, it's a nice little combo event. It's a paranormal event, but I'm going to be doing a motivational lecture up there on June 21st up in Manchester. And then I'm over in Michigan in July. We're doing two of the SS City in Milwaukee, and there's another boat out there too. I can't remember the names of them, but we're doing two of those. I'm going to be down in Kentucky doing Scarefest this year in the fall. I'm also going to be down in Texas doing Phantom Fest. So yeah, man, a lot of cool things. Anybody wants to check out any of my motivational stuff, it's at DustinPari.com. And all my paranormal stuff is at ParanormalRockstar.com. So, and then follow me on Twitter because you'll get the most insane crap on there. which is just at Dustin Pari.
Do you know
it's
the
a lot
Muffin
of
Man?
motivation and a lot of positive stuff, but then there's like pictures of food and talk about pie and cartoons.
Oh, Punchy's already all over there when you said pie.
I'm already following with just
Do you
crazy.
have pie in your mouth now, Punchy? What's going on?
Oh, actually, I don't. Organic stuff, remember?
He's been losing weight.
I know, he has been.
He's been losing weight. What are you at now?
254 even.
Not bad. Over a year, he's lost over 100 pounds.
Look at you.
Wow, that's
Someone's
great.
getting a Subway commercial.
Kicking ass and taking names.
But I think if I had went to Subway, I probably wouldn't have lost it.
Dustin, I have a challenge for you, my friend.
Uh-oh.
I challenge you this year. I know there's going to be a lot of functions around Halloween time, of course, with ghosts. But I challenge you at one of these functions to show up dressed as Casey Jones / Justin Bieber.
Oh, Jesus.
I challenge you to show up as the Bee, but with Casey Jones' outfit on.
All right.
Just challenge you.
Let's see. Well, I'd have to get a beeb wig. There's no way I could get my hair to go forward like that. So if I get a beeb wig and a hockey mask, we might be able to make this happen.
I'm saying.
All right. I'm going to add to this. I'm going to add to this challenge, especially if it's going to be around Halloween. I want the entire show to be there and do a live show from where you're going to be.
You know what? If he does
Live
that, I'll
show
dress.
with Dustin Pari as Justin Bieber as Casey Jones.
Yes.
And I'll be there as Rick Ross as Leonardo of the Disney.
Oh, man. Again, you can follow Dustin at Dustin Pari. That's DustinPari on Twitter. And my Twitter is still going off, so thank you guys.
You're welcome.
And an entire hour. I love it.
It's going off like a bukkake. Seriously.
Yeah,
it's
got,
over
yeah. I need to ask this
You
because
just learned what that meant the other day.
I just learned what that meant.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, poor
I was
Danielle.
like, what's a buck cake?
You can imagine her
Alright,
Google
speak also
experience did
friends.
not go the way she planned.
Her search history's got to be weird.
Problem with
My
that shedding
search
pussy?
history is very weird.
She probably thought it was a cake and did the image search.
Yeah, oh, that's too
I was
bad.
like, what is this?
Sully looks so pissed off right now. He's like so disappointed in where we're
I'm
going.
so upset now.
Not as upset as D doing that Google search.
Interesting images, though.
I'm sure.
Why is she wearing goggles?
The biggest pearl necklace I've ever seen.
Oh, man. Oh.
Looks like cake batter just
That
exploded
is
on her face.
not hair gel.
All right, Dustin, I need to break the fourth wall now. Did you really expect this kind of an interview?
Well, I'll tell you what, I didn't do a hell of a lot of research, but I kind of get the gist of it. And yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, we kind of just go, and that's about it.
Yeah.
The most show prep, the dumbass of the week, the best of Craigslist, and your interview. And that went an hour.
Fantastic.
So-
Glad to be a part of it.
So thank you for being on the show. We do have to go to break now because we have more stuff to do and very little time to do it. Thanks again for being on the show. You are more than welcome to come on anytime you want. And if you really want to be on, make sure you get a webcam and we can work it out. We can have you on whenever you
Absolutely.
want.
I'll get the Bieber wig, and I'll get the hockey mask and the webcam. It'll be wonderful.
Dude, that is just bad. That is
All right,
We
bad.
should
guys.
all
Thank
dress
you all
up.
so
I'll
much.
be Miley Cyrus going as Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, jeez.
I think he just goes Lindsay Lohan.
Oh, man.
Miley Cyrus dressing as April O'Neil, as played by Megan Fox.
I think April O'Neil should be played by porn star April O'Neil. That's just my thing.
All
Yep.
right. Dustin,
Yes, no
thanks again for coming on. We appreciate it. We got to go to break, guys.
Sorry.
Pay the bills.
Dustin, again, thanks again. And I'll actually have the entire YouTube video up for you, and I'll put it on your Facebook page and send it to you in an email as well. So you'll
All right,
have
that sounds good.
so you'll have all this wonderful craziness.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks,
Catch y'all later.
thanks for being on, man.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
That was awesome. All right, we got to go to break. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this week's interview with Dustin Pari from Ghost Hunters International. You can follow him on Twitter at Dustin Pari, DustinPari, as well as his website, ParanormalRockstar.com, where you can get all the information on his tour dates, as well as all his wonderful stories from his blogs, and even some YouTube videos that he's got floating out there. that I just happened to find recently. You can also check out our YouTube channel just by clicking the subscribe button. If you liked the video, put a comment. Got a question for either Dustin or myself, as well as the rest of the team on the show, leave a comment. You can also check out More Like Radio's YouTube channel right up in the top corner here, as well as their Twitter and their Facebook. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook as well. And as always, we look forward to seeing you in our chat room during the show. We are live Sundays, noon to 2 Eastern on morelikeradio.com, and we'll see you next time.